Greetings, fellow seekers of truth, wisdom, and light. This is Reverend Eliot coming to you on a somewhat disappointing evening in the city of New York. Disappointing because just not even an hour ago there was thunder crackling across the sky, and I was so inspired I put on the 1931 film Dracula. It's a little stagey, but wow, is that effective. But now it's just calm out there. I've lost my thunder. Well, men my age are likely to complain about things like that, but in any case, it was a good background, and I would have loved to hear that. There used to be when the show would happen on New Year's Eve, it was always wonderful to be able to hear the screaming that goes on in the area here, because I live in the Times Square area where they claim a couple of million people gather to cheer in the new year, but I don't think it's that many people at all. But it sounds good. Well, I'm. This is the third week in a row that I'm here, so I think changes are afoot. I'm trying very hard, in many ways, to maintain a schedule because I'm retired. I'm now living alone. Not a choice I made, but it happens. It's a tragic choice, but it's a thing. And it's very odd to get accustomed to this. One of the things you may know from seeing and listening to the Magical Window is that I'm a rather talkative person, and I now live alone, which is kind of eerie. So I have a feeling that I'm overloading people with emails in order to induce a simulacrum of talk. But I think I'll grow used to this eventually. I'm glad to be doing this because I mean, aside from constant medical treatment, there's nothing else I have to do, really. So today I did manage to pack up some soap to mail. Now there's something interesting, some of you know that I make and sell shaving soaps. Only 5% of men use these things. They use, a little brush and a mug and whip up soap. But when inflation hit like 10% a few years back, the three top selling brands of very inexpensive shaving soap went away. They must have been working on a very slim profit margin, and the inflation killed it. So we were left with nothing but expensive soaps, and I decided to take action. I used to, I used to make things on my own anyway. I made my own incense for years. I can still do that. I just haven't thought of doing it in a while. I compound my own oils. I don't make the oil, but I combine the various ingredients for magical oils. The incense were fun. I could make loose incense or I could make a cone. The, that was easy to do. You just use a sort of gum arabic kind of thing, powder, and there's wonderful stuff to make on your own. We've lost the homemade aspect of so much of our lives, and I like to bring it back. So I decided for myself to just make shaving soap because I didn't want to get ripped off for expensive shaving soaps, since that's the way I shaved for years. And then I figured, why not sell it? And I put it up on eBay, and it's not putting me in a new tax bracket, but it certainly is. It's selling, and I have to hit the post office in a day or so to send out another package of soap. It's just something I enjoy doing, and at this point in my life, there isn't that much joy aside from things like that. I don't want to be morose about it, but I've been through an awful lot, and I'm trying to adjust to it, and I'm trying to see what I can do. And see how life changes. Because one thing is sure in this life is that life changes, and I've been through a lot of stuff before, but never anything like this. So this is why, and I'm only dwelling on it right now because I have gotten so much support from Ask One Radio listeners who contacted me with condolences and with advice, and no advice is rejected. Believe me on that one. I'm not an expert here. Even on Twitter, I get a lot of emotional support from people I don't know. It's just, it's nice. I have gotten nothing negative from anybody, and I don't expect I will, because I don't put out negativity that I'm aware of. I guess that's one of those things that's better left for other people to decide. But I try to keep life positive, and that's what we're about here. That's what the tarot cards can do. They can help us to see what's going on in the world and in our lives and what's coming up. And they've got a bad rap from sensationalistic movies, but no, they're not. There's nothing out of the ordinary here. I mean, this, like, look at it. There's a card. It's kind of an ugly card. It's got a person lying face down in the mud with 9 swords in his back. But that's a good card, because what that card means is that the worst is over. That that person lying there is expected to get up, and that person will get up, and we'll start over again and continue, because life can sometimes throw its worst at us. You know what I'm talking about. We've all been through things that my vocabulary is not vulgar enough to allow me to say how I feel about it. I'm kind of old school that way, so I keep the vulgarities to a minimum. But that's an interesting week we had here. We had a few people throwing inept bombs around the city. This is not something that happens here every day. They came from Pennsylvania to throw bombs in New York City. That's absolutely ridiculous. And of course, they fizzled. The news is telling us how everybody's on edge and afraid and scared. I haven't run into anybody terrified. As far as I can see, the city is still the same. It's a strange city, let me tell you that. But it's getting warm now. We're no longer freezing. I went out the other day, and to my horror, I saw there were no snowbanks. So that's good. That's good. That was the new mayor's plan, to get rid of the snow. It didn't involve shoveling, it involved spring. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that one. This is, don't get me started on that one. I used to be very plugged into the political scene here, which is one of the reasons I'm not very big on the political scene. You run a newspaper for 20 years, you're going to get to meet a lot of these people and see what they really are like. And it is not pretty. So again, we're going to soon enter a period of positivity, because people can only handle so much negativity, and then they decide to change the way things are done. I'm hiccuping a little because I broke one of the broadcast rules. I had a glass of ginger ale before the show, and now it's going to come back on me. So what can I tell you? I got a new book out, which I didn't have the sales moxie to show you. I left it in the kitchen, and I'm here now in the studio. So no, but it's an interesting book from 1930. It's a slim book, so it's only $9.99. Now it's about folklore involving fortune telling. You can read it and learn how to do your own fortune telling, and then you don't have to listen to me anymore. This is not fortune telling, by the way. That's something that every now and then somebody who's a card reader, as am I and have been since the 80s, and you'd think I'd be fed up with it by now, wouldn't you? But no, it never fails to surprise me. There are communities around the country that have ordinances against fortune telling, and they'll arrest you, and they'll charge you, and they'll ticket you, and then there'll be a lawsuit, and the lawsuit will throw out the fortune telling law, because technically this is not fortune telling. This is divination. Look that word up sometime. There's a vast difference. It's interpreting words too, and words and pictures. It speaks symbolically and pictorially. I mean, there's a pretty picture right there, and it's a nice card, and it tells a lot. It says things. It's part of the First Amendment's freedom of religion too, by the way. But it's not fortune telling. I mean, it's not this, you're going to meet a tall, dark stranger. Wasn't that a Woody Allen movie that nobody saw? Yeah. But that's not how it works, because I've got a shock for people. Every time you leave the house, you're going to encounter strangers. So these things have a built-in life of their own. And so what we do with the magical window, which is what I call tarot, is we look at events that are unfolding that we don't see yet. A perfect example of this is at the end of 2019, I started getting reading after reading after reading after reading for people that indicated new beginnings. And all I could figure was that something was going to come to a massive crashing ending, and new beginnings will begin. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. It hit me too, and I was utterly amazed that a person tinkering around in a lab in China with a virus can get me here in the middle of Hell's Kitchen in New York City sick. That was a lot of fun. That was the most frightening disease I ever had. Not the most aggravating disease I've ever had, but it was horrifying. I had tremendous hallucinations. I don't ever want to do that again. One of the things that I find frightening in life is the concept of losing your mind, which, of course, when it happens, you don't know it happened, but I could see it was happening, and it was terrible. And in the grip of these hallucinations, I said some very nasty things to my wife, who understood. She understood. She didn't get sick, by the way. She never got sick. She just, I mean, the one time I saw her physically sick was the hour in which she died. I mean, she was just gifted with a very strong immune system, I suppose. But I never saw her get a cold. I never saw her get the flu. None of that. None. It came to me, the sap who says to every bacteria, come on in, the water's fine. But the cards showed me that something was radically wrong, and things were coming to an end, and new beginnings were happening. And the pandemic, it became a mark of, like a road marker where people's lives did change. Some of them ended, but man, it was awful. It was just awful. But I was still flabbergasted by the idea that somebody could mess around with stuff in a lab in China, and it comes knocking on the door and says, and knocks me out for a long time. Now, I was lucky because my physician had gotten this a month or so before I did. And being a physician, when he went to the hospital, they didn't ignore him. They treated him. And he treated me with the same therapies that they treated him, and it got me through. That was that was a stroke of luck, you know. And I'm sorry that my doctor was sick, but I'm glad I was able to benefit from it. And I just wish there wasn't this double standard. You know, if you suspect that medical people get treated better by other medical people, you might be right. So anyway, here we are, coming up on the Ides of March, and that puts me in a Shakespearean mood. But I dast not recite. I won't put you through that. Life is tough enough. I do have a couple of favorite sonnets, but we will put the kibosh on that because this is not show business. I spent too many years in that racket to want to drag it into this. So let's get into the readings now. Now that I've been babbling for 16 minutes or so, I'm going to ring a bell 3 times to declare that we are entering a sacred space in which we can investigate the paranormal. And we'll pull back the curtain on the magical window. I'm about to sneeze. Don't you hate that feeling? And for Samantha in Victoria, Australia. Hi, Samantha. How are you doing halfway around the world?
Not too bad.
Hello?
No.
Are you coming through? You hear me, I am assuming.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So how are you tonight? Or this afternoon in your case, right?
Afternoon, yeah.
What would you like me to look at for you?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, you called me, you know. So what would you? That's okay. Take your time. I mean, the public speaking is probably the thing that most people dread the most. So I shouldn't mention that, but yeah, you know, you're speaking in front of an awful lot of people. So whatever you want to look at, let me know, and I'll take a look through the magical window to see what we find out. How's that?
Yeah, relationship, I guess.
Well, what was that?
Relationship.
Oh, relationship. Okay. Yeah, well, let's take a look. Cards are good for that. That used to be the number one thing I would get asked about was relationships. But I could always tell when the economy was in trouble because then it would be money. So I'm hoping that this is a sign that we're coming out of that. Let's shuffle them up one more time. And, well, the King of Cups is here. Cups are about emotions and relationships. So that's a good start. The King of Cups is a person who has mastered his or her emotions. And the Three of Cups is here. That's another one. Now, here's the King of Coins. This is going to be an egotistical interpretation, but everybody has a card that relates to them personally, which is called their significator, and it's based on your age and your month and year and all that of birth. And that's my card. So that would be you and me talking. The Three of Cups is a good card in that it augurs. Are you in the market for a new relationship?
No.
Pardon?
No.
No, because if you're in a relationship now, this refers to a relationship that it could be reaching a very good new level. So are you with somebody at the moment?
Yeah, I've been for 15 years.
Okay, well that's good. So that tells me that the Three of Cups is that it's a harmonious, balanced, good relationship. And here's the Page of Cups. You see, that's another. That tells me that it's a relationship that feels fresh and new to you still. So that's good. Enjoy it because these kind of things are what make life very important for me. And and I trust for other people too. We are social creatures, and before social media, we were very affable social creatures. Social media, which I have pretty much escaped from, except for posting on Twitter, which I find more sedate. Things like Facebook, I was tired of getting into arguments with strangers. But here's something new. See, these are all cup cards. This is absolutely good. Uh, the Four of Cups tells me that there's something coming your way in terms of this relationship that's new but unexpected, and you haven't seen it yet. And the Six of Cups shows me that there's a great deal of contentment, sort of like the a happy childhood experience. So the cards are showing that there's no speed bumps here. Your relationship is doing very well. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Good, good. I'm glad. And there's nothing bad here. So that seems to be the main fear people have reading cards. But you're very well situated. Let me ask you this though: are you looking for work in any way?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've got the Ace of Rods here. That's about something new happening in terms of career. So keep an eye out for that because that's a good sign that that it told me that you are doing that, and you will you're headed for a new experience in terms of work and career. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling. I've enjoyed speaking with you tonight.
Yeah. Thank you.
My pleasure. Bye bye now. And let's shuffle them up again. We'll shoot halfway around the world again to the left coast, which is something a lot of people don't know this, but I have it on good authority that was an expression coined by the late great Kinky Friedman. Abby in Portland, Oregon is next. Hi, Abby. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hello.
Hi, Abby. How are you tonight?
I'm pretty good.
Well, maybe we can make that better. What can I look at for you?
I'd like a general reading. I have a lot going on. Uh, just a lot of loose ends.
Okay, let me shuffle them one more time now that you've given me some input. And we'll see where the cards go. Now I'll cut them. Well, the Ten of Rods is here. That's a card of somebody who feels overburdened. Are you feeling that way?
Yes.
Okay, that's a person who's weighed down with responsibilities and things to do. But you're going to deal with that because I have here the Page of Rods, which shows that something new is going to come in terms of work and career. And this is a card here that's one of the happiest cards in the deck. So don't sweat it. That's the Ten of Cups. That tells me things are going to work out fine for you. Okay?
Okay.
Did you want to see any more detail in that, or is that all you need to know? I mean, so far,
Um,
all I've done is tell you what you already know, right? So that's not. Let's see if we can dig deeper. How's that?
okay. Well, there's a lot. I can just the condominium complex I live in. It's been really a difficult place to live, but I love my condo. I'm about ready to have surgery, two different types of surgery. I just fired a personal injury lawsuit lawyer. There's just a lot of different things where I can't believe all that's going on.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is not a very. I mean, it's an informative card, but it's not a happy card. It's the Seven of Swords, and that's somebody sneaking around, causing trouble in your life. Do you feel somebody's doing that?
I'm a little bit, yes.
Yeah, because the cards are confirming that here. Um, this here, I just cut the deck and I pulled out the Ace of Cups, which is a very strong card about emotion and happiness and feelings. you're going to come out of this with your emotional life in not only intact but enhanced. This is, it's always darkest before the dawn, all that stuff. Now, my wife and I, a few years ago, we went through a personal injury lawsuit, so I can identify with that. And it was interesting for her because she's a lawyer and she didn't do anything about it. She hired some expert to do it, and she sat back. And that's, it's very hard sometimes to sit back, especially when you're in that field. But if you have a good personal injury lawyer, they know how to handle this. So you might want to try to help ease the stress, because there's no doubting that you're under a great deal of stress if there's a lawsuit going on, correct?
Correct.
So I see emotionally good things happening for you. It's like the nine of coins here. That's about somebody who is very very confident in themselves and doesn't need validation from other people. So you're a strong and independent person, but we all have a breaking point, and from what you tell me, and my having gotten that 10 of rods, which shows almost unbearable burdens. You're in a rough period of your life, but you're going to come out of it much better. That's the hopeful thing I can tell you. Okay, there you go. There's
Okay.
the card. That's the one. That's strength, and you've got the strength. A lot of us have it and don't use it, and a lot of us use it when we don't need it. But I think you're going to use it very judiciously. So,
Yes.
yeah, hang in there, because this is going to help mold you into a stronger person. And let's see if I can get anything here. Yeah, you see now, here's the page of coins. I wanted to say, and it's taking a chance. Let's see if we get any information on how your legal thing is going to work out. This is a card about the appearance of money. The pages are the physical manifestation of the item in the suit, and this is the suit of money. So I see money heading your way. Okay, and this is the world. That is a card of assured success. Between those two cards, I think you're going to come out of this really okay, but it's going to take some strength to get through it. So keep that in mind, okay? Keep that end result in mind. You can always go to askoneradio.com after tomorrow and get a listen at this reading again, or you can find it at Moonstruck TV if you want to see it. But the you're in a very very tough position, and there's somebody who's causing problems for you, but that's all going to be taken care of, and you're going to come out much stronger.
Okay.
So yeah, these are very good cards I'm getting. I keep hiccuping here. This is not very professional, is it? But that's like troubles, you can't avoid hiccups in life. Nobody can tell me, by the way, what evolutionary advantage hiccups give us. What was the point of it? Why did we develop that? Anyway, Abby, you're going to be all right. Let me cut the deck one more time. See, there's another card about getting money. Now, I don't want to be too materialistic about it, but that's always good to hear, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
So keep these cards in mind, and don't hesitate to go back to see or listen to the March 11th reading at askoneradio.com, so that you can, if you have any doubts, and you will have some doubts down the road, they can be refreshed, okay? Or replaced is
Okay.
actually a better word. So I'm going to light a candle to send a white candle to send positive energy your way tonight. How's that?
That sounds good.
My pleasure. And let me know. You can always contact me at at my email, asktarot@earthlink.net, or through my website, or through the Ask One Radio website. You can always contact me and let me know how things are going, and I can take a look at a few cards for you on the house. I'm not going to charge you. We'll just consider that an extension of this free reading. How's that?
That sounds good.
So remember, I'll be here. Thank you so much,
Okay.
and all the best to you. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Now, you're listening to Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, where, believe it or not, we have crossed the halfway mark. Boy, time flies. The time sure flies. I love our time getting together, because I was so nervous when I started doing this. And I'm a little bit nervous now because I haven't done it in a few months. And you didn't want to talk to me for the last few months. Please trust me on that one. But when I started doing this, even before the show, I was concerned about bad readings, and I rarely get bad readings. And my theory on that is that people who are aware of a situation that they're in will work it out. They will figure out a way to take care of it. And since you call and you ask for advice about something, you are aware of the situation. So that that helps build some positive energy. It's very, very positive. Rose in Austin, Texas is next. Hello, Rose. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi, Reverend.
Hi, Rose. How is Austin tonight?
Windy.
Well, at least you don't have people.
Very windy.
At least you don't have people showing up throwing bombs at crowds. So that's New
last
York.
Week.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much have seen everything in New York. I never actually saw that until I saw the video of that. But wow, that's a new one for me. Although we've had numerous riots in the city through the ages. I mean, vicious riots. There were, the Orange riots, where religious groups tried to kill each other, and then the draft riots. And it's, that's calmed down a bit now in the last 100 years or so. Mercifully, we found other things to get upset about. Anyway, that's New York, So what can I look at for you tonight?
You decide. Just whatever you
Oh.
feel, whatever you read or see, or
Okay,
I'm
well,
open, flexible. I'm flexible.
this is the Ace of Swords.
This is our
the
second
card.
time. Our second time talking, by the way.
Oh, when did we talk before? How long ago was that?
Or maybe the third. I don't know. A few months ago. And then,
okay. See, the funny thing
half
is,
a year.
I don't retain these readings. I'm right in the moment, and when it's gone, it's gone. So that's
right.
That's either chronic forgetfulness or age creeping up on me. But I don't remember readings, and I don't keep a journal of writing people's stuff down. I like the spontaneity of it. What I got for you, though, is the Ace of Swords. Now that's a good one. There are several ways that can go. Swords can represent conflict. It depends upon the cards around it, and I'll be pulling some more cards so that we can see. But the Ace of Swords can represent the beginning of a new way of thinking and a new way of seeing the world, that you may be growing mentally and changing. Do you feel that happening?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, it's a good
Definitely.
thing. Because the next card is the World, which is the card I just had before for somebody, which is assured success. So that's coming along well. The Ace of Coins is here. That just says that financially things are going to be okay for you. And here's another card indicating change, which is the Wheel of Fortune. So the question is, how is the change going to manifest itself? And I don't see anything negative happening here. I've got the King of Rods here. That means good things can happen to you in terms of career or financial interests. You know, things are going to be moving for you there. So you're entering a period of change, but it's change that you are creating because you are changing the way you think and see the world. Correct?
Exactly. Yep.
So
Couldn't be more clear.
well, and the good news is there's nothing there saying cut that out. You know, stop that. You know, the cards are very supportive, and you know it's nice that you know the changes. I don't like change. A lot of people don't like change. And when I started reading the cards, I learned very early on that before you tell somebody that a card says there's going to be change, they're going to want to know if it's a good change or a bad change, and it's good. See here, I've got another. I got the Ace of Cups. That's the beginning. Now that's good. The Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords tells me that you're growing in a new direction emotionally and intellectually. So that you know you got your bases covered there. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
You're going to see a lot of positive results from that.
that's good. I took
Well,
a
this
leap of faith and
Oh no,
with
you said leap. Wait a minute. You said leap of faith. That's this card.
I took a
The
really
Fool.
I took
Yeah.
a real yeah.
If you this deck is more modernistic, so it's using a close up. But in the classical decks, the Fool is walking right off a cliff in a leap of faith. Now,
Absolutely.
if you want to see that in a movie, there's a scene inspired by that in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. No, that was the gruesome one, The Last Crusade. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He walks off a cliff, and you'll see what happens. The fool is not an idiot. The fool is the person who is the beloved of God in the history of tarot cards, and see this happens to me every time I read. Somebody will say something that exactly relates to the card that I've got. You say leap of faith. That is the card of the fool to a
Wow.
T. Do a Google search of the tarot card, the Fool, and you'll see that
Yeah,
that person is stepping right off a cliff and
yeah.
will not be harmed. So, and
Yeah,
they,
exactly. That you just yeah, this is an affirmation that I had no fear. I knew what I was doing and it's like you know, it's the right time.
yes, it is. And you're growing emotionally and you're growing intellectually. And I'm growing
Definitely.
hiccuply. I don't get this, you know. So, you know, you're going to do just fine. Okay.
Thank you.
My pleasure. I hope to speak to you again. And if I don't remember you again, it's just because, you know, I let these shoot right through me. Because I'm not, this is not me reading. This is your reading. These are your cards. I'm just communicating what your cards say. So I almost feel like I'm barely involved in this process, which is nice. I've always enjoyed being left out by myself. How do you do that? I mean, I've had a lot of people leave me out of things in life, but the number one I was most thankful for was Richard Nixon leaving me out of the draft. He didn't call anybody up that year, and my draft number was 002, which meant bye bye, right? So it's the one lottery I
Wow.
win, right? But he didn't call anyone up that year. So there you go. So yeah, here again, the King of Cups here. You're really growing emotionally. The King of Cups, the growth in terms of emotion is going to be really important to you, as is the intellectual growth. So you stay in touch, okay?
Thank you. Yeah, I will for sure.
Great. And I'm here every Wednesday, and my email is asktarot@earthlink.net for anybody who doesn't get through tonight. drop me a line. I do remember. How can you remember? I don't. I rarely say this. Uh, I offer a free mini reading, a 3-card mini reading, absolutely free, to Ask One Radio listeners. And if you're not an Ask One Radio listener and somehow you found out about it, I'll do it anyway. I'm not stingy. So thanks for calling, Rose.
I was curious about the Earthlink address that still exists. That's still.
Yeah. That was the first thing I set up when I got an internet connection so many years ago. But yeah, Earthlink has a couple of million subscribers still. So there you go, right?
All right then.
It shows how long I've been doing this too. My steam-powered computer is still functioning, isn't it? And my first computer actually couldn't get on the internet because it wasn't an internet yet, and it only had a 16K memory, but that was fun. So stay in touch, and let me just tell you here, again, this is the Wheel of Fortune. That's to hammer that home. There are great changes coming in your life, and you're entitled to them because you've been working for it. So the best of luck to you, Rose.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And let's see. Let's shuffle them up one more time. And please remember, take advantage of that. I have loads of time on my hands. So if you want a free mini reading, fine. That's what I do it for. Don't be shy. Go to my website and look at charts, because what I can do for you also is I can do a free horoscope birth chart for you. No charge. I don't save any information. I'm not, you know how I feel about spam, and I'm assuming how you feel about it, so I don't promulgate that. I don't get involved in that at all. Spam, even in a can, I abhor. But no, I'm not going to do that. So those are two of the things that I offer free of charge. Is a birth chart. There's a slightly more complicated 25-page birth chart that isn't free, but this is a good one too. This is a free one, and the free mini reading. Please exploit me, use me, drag me through the mud. See, I've been through all that life can offer. Kim in Eugene, Oregon is next. Hi, Kim. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm great.
Well, you know something? You have this, even through the electronics here, you radiate a lot of energy. There's a lot of positivity here. So this should be a great reading.
Thank you.
What can I look at for you?
So.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
there's no bad news.
That's true. That's true. No, I just kind of like looking for some general about what's ahead. Just ended a 26-year marriage. Kids have moved out. I'm on my own for the first time, turning 65 in 2 days. And I'm a Pisces, and so all of my planets have moved out of Pisces, and good things are supposed to be coming. And I'm just feeling a little stuck. So I was just hoping maybe some validation or some insight.
I can relate to that. I mean, I'm now living alone for the first time in 41 years. So,
Oh, dude, sorry. I feel
starting, I'm starting to talk to the furniture, but
my dog is having a wonderful conversation with me daily.
But I'm very old-fashioned. But let me show you how old-fashioned I am here. I'm going to reach over at my desk here. Okay, this is my telephone. Okay, now you may not be able to see it, but the people who are looking at the video stream will see that is a classical brass candlestick phone with a dial on it that does not work anymore. The dial has been fired by the phone company. So I have a 1970s gadget that does dial tones. So that works. So yeah, I need, and so I'm not very up on going through modern problems. when one of the problems you have in life is how to dial your phone, so you're definitely holding out. So I'm with you on that. So let's see what we've got here. You're absolutely in a period of change. Now, this is a good card. This is the Page of Swords. Now, I had the swords before for somebody. That was the ace. This is the pages represent the appearance of the meaning of the card. And this refers to developing a new way of thinking and a new way of seeing the world. Now, again, this is twice in one show I'm getting this card, which is the Fool. That is
I love the
that's as
Fool.
close as you're going to get to like chicken soup. That means everything is okay. The character of the Fool, the person who gets that card, is considered the beloved of God. If there were any negative cards in this reading, that card would erase them. The funny thing is, the prior call, the person referred to having taken a leap of faith, and that is exactly what that card is about. Because in many decks it shows the Fool walking off a cliff, and nothing happens bad. Nothing can happen because the Fool is highly protected. The leap of faith, you've brought change to your own life, correct? So
Yes.
yeah, now that's rough. That's hard for people to do. Um, I'm not going to inquire into the details of your relationship, but I knew a very wise man once who never understood why so many people stay in relationships that are bad. And it finally dawned on him, as he phrased it, people would rather be miserable than be lonely. So, your leap of faith is shown in many things that you mentioned at the start of the call. And living alone after so many years of not living alone is in many ways a mixed blessing. But you're going to handle it. I mean, frankly, I don't even need to look at any more cards for you. Between the Page of Swords and the Fool, it's telling me that you're on the right path and you're going to be fine. I can pull some more if you want, but it's superfluous. The
No, that's
I have one other card at the top of the deck, which is the Four of Swords, which is it refers to taking time out from life. So if you're thinking of doing that, this is a validation of that idea, because
I have been doing that.
yeah, that pretty much would go without saying, considering the nature of the changes you're describing. You're in a period of balance. That's the Temperance card. That is. I cut the deck for that. I didn't want to go with what was at the top. The Temperance card means balance is being restored in your life. If you felt that there were things way out of balance in your existence, the cards are confirming that, but also pointing out that you're doing something very valuable there to restore the balance in your life, and that is a good sign, a very good sign. The one last card I'll give you is the Two of Cups. That tells me that new relationships are going to be entering your life, with because you're changing and growing, and I can't even count how many times in my life people who knew me and then didn't see me for years would be upset and say, "Well, you've changed," and I said, "Geez, I hope so." You know, 'cause-
Right.
so what can you do? I mean, I certainly don't want to be the same person I was when I was 12, but
Right.
but it's nice to retain a childlike quality. But you're doing good. You're on the right track, and it's going to end up very good for you. The Eight of Rods shows me that there's positive stuff coming in your life now. It's actually on the way and will soon be tangible. So get ready for that, because it's. I think you and I are both signed up for a new phase in life, and
Hmm.
I, for one, am interested in seeing what it's going to do to me this time.
Right.
It's sort of like reincarnation. It's and by the way, I just have to say this because I had it on my website. I have a page about reincarnation because There was a wonderfully funny comedian by the name of Ronnie Shakes. Ronnie Shakopoulos called himself Ronnie Shakes. He was one of the funniest human beings I ever saw, and unfortunately, he passed away while jogging at the age of 40, which was a great loss for the entertainment business and for the good vibes in the world. But he did classic setup punchline jokes, and which are very hard to do. And the one about and whenever there's big changes in life, I always feel like there's reincarnation happening on a small scale. And his joke was, I just blew $5,000 on a reincarnation seminar. I figured, what the heck, you only live once. You know. So there's let's see, what do we get here? Oh, there, that's the one.
There you go.
But it's change. I abhor change. I despise change. I want things to stay the same, and yet change always works out for the best. I found, even if it's just bad. I mean, I had a marriage once before that barely lasted a year and a couple of months, and people always laugh when I tell them why it ended, and then they apologize for laughing, but it is kind of funny. You got to admit it. It wasn't very amusing at the time, but my wife fell in love with the wedding photographer.
Oh my.
So I took care of that in a very firm way, and then I found out that it hurt. That was the biggest surprise of my life. So that's, to me, change is painful, and I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of being in pain.
No.
No, not at all. So, and I know there are some people who are, but not me, not me. But growth hurts. Growing pains, we refer to. I used to think they were literal when I was a child. I was terrified I was going to hurt. But you're doing. If you have any doubts about the direction you've chosen for your life, these cards show me that you're on very solid ground. So, in fact, I will dare to take one other one here. The Queen of Rods. That's a woman who's in control of what's happening with her life. And more power to you. Okay?
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that so much.
So you and we ought to share notes in a few months and see how we're both doing. If I'm still talking to the furniture, you'll know, because
Exactly.
if I'm talking about my drawers, I don't mean any underwear, So, thanks for calling in. I've got to run. We're up against the deadline here. So thank you for
have a good evening.
a very
Thank
nice
you.
call. Bye-bye.
Okay.
And that's it. We have come to the end. We have crossed the Rubicon. We have hit the wall, and it's time for me to hit the road, Jack. But I will be coming back, contrary to the assertion from Ray Charles. There's no getting rid of me. I missed so many shows recently, and I'm back. And this, I've got to tell you, the positive energy I get from the callers, from the management at Ask One Radio. If you're inclined to doing this kind of stuff, you look into getting with Ask One Radio, because they are the most supportive, positive, wonderful people I have ever worked with in any form of the entertainment business, which is known for being filled with slimy people. I did a lot of work in Broadway, and I met one producer who was a genuinely nice person. Okay. Now, I'm not going to mention who that was, so I can let everybody else think I mean them. But anyway, you people have done so much to enhance my life, and that's why I offer the free horoscope and the free mini readings to give back. So I'm going to go now, and I'll be back again next week. And remember, time flies. It's up to you to be the navigator. Bye bye now.